Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Sherry Cohen, Brian Giberson, and Sharby Higuchi, who are all here on behalf of the Festival of Arts and the Pageant of the Masters. Well, thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We are thrilled to be here.
Yeah, you know, it's been a long, as Brian put it, decade, it seems like, for the last year and a half. We've been hunkered down. We've been slowly getting back into things. And now, of course, here we're opening up and we've got this wonderful program to look forward to. So with that said, Sharby, tell me a little bit about the Festival of Arts exhibit and the Pageant of the Masters.
Well, first of all, exactly what you just said. We are thrilled to finally be opening our doors this summer after a year-long shutdown. And we can't wait to really welcome everybody out back to have an incredibly vibrant art experience. So the Festival Arts Fine Arts Show has been around for nearly 90 years, if you can believe it or not. And it's been a huge attraction over the years and really recognized as one of the top art shows in California. And I'll tell you why. It's because of our artists. We have roughly this year about 120 artists who's going to be showcasing their work. And it is a fine juried art show. And so in order to get into our show, you really have to be the best of Orange County. And we have two artists sitting right next to us that are just that. And it's really an opportunity to go look at the artwork as well as purchase artwork. There's a really wonderful artwork there available for purchase from our artists. You get to talk to the artists, maybe go on some art tours. The festival also has some music. We have a junior art exhibit. And I always enjoy those art demonstrations by our artists because you get to talk to the artists, learn a lot about their work, and, just experience it. And after a year of shutdown, aren't we happy to be really reconnecting not only with the arts, but also with one another again? And where else better to do that in beautiful Laguna Beach at the Festival of Arts?
Yeah, that's, and I've been to both events many, many times, and Brian and Sherry, it's just amazing that we've had to wait this long, but on the good side, has it given you a lot of opportunity to do some work?
Well, it's kind of interesting. The first couple of months where everyone was in terror, it was really hard to work. But once things calmed down a little, we understood how it was transmitted. We stayed very close to home. We had more time to actually do more creative and more unusual aspects of our art. Mm-hmm. So working a little slower without all the stress, we actually have made some fabulous pieces that we'll be showing this summer.
And the last few months isn't so different from a normal artist's life anyway. It tends to be fairly solitary. You spend a lot of time in the studio making things. So this was a great time to focus in and really produce a lot of interesting, new work.
Right. Now tell me a little bit about your work. Now, of course, you are both Laguna Woods Village residents. You have Indeed. Been on our program in the past. Either for the Pageant of the Masters or for the Festival of Arts. So give me a little background.
Well, I do sculptural jewelry, large, bold. I use very non-traditional materials. And my goal is to make things for self-confident women, to make things that present you to the world, that go, here I am, deal with it. And so everything I make is one of a kind. It's really very non-traditional, and I teach metalsmithing in Irvine, and what I try and do is I try and encourage a connection not only to my art but to the person who's buying it, to themselves, to their presenting their power to the world, to not being shy, to not hiding, but to be out there.
Her work is just stunning. I'm just going to chime in there real quick.
Oh, I think it's great. So like the piece that you're wearing, Sherry, is that kind of like what you're talking about?
It's one of my smaller pieces, yes.
Oh, that's smaller.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
I often will do pieces that are quite large.
If you're wearing a piece of Sherry's artwork and when you walk into the room, let me just tell you, you are noticed. They are beautiful and stunning. And as she says, it's for the confident woman. So
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Right. So when you have a woman that comes up to, I mean, either at the Fine Arts Festival, so would a woman be drawn to a particular type of piece and then you kind of know that that's for her?
Well, it's a very interesting question because it is a gift that I have. I'll oftentimes let people pick something they like. We'll try it on. And I know flat out it isn't going to look good on them. And so I'll try a couple of things that they've chosen. And then I say to them, will you let me choose something? And then just to play. And then I'll put a piece on it. It's exactly the right piece and it's the one they go home with.
Wow, that's an intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Ryan, what about you?
My art's a mixed media art using found objects. So usually wood-based. I love the way wood splits apart and the gnarled quality that wood has, aged wood. My whole art started, I was doing large scale abstract, and I have a whole history of doing lots of different art forms.
Mm-hmm.
And my neighbor was pulling out his back fence. And I fell in love with this old gate that was gnarled and weather beaten. So I hung it on my wall of my studio as inspiration, trying to bring elements of that into my paintings. And then finally I thought, why don't I just skip the canvas altogether, go directly to the wood? And so I started breaking it apart, making these long, narrow objects I call totems. They're usually somewhat figurative. There's almost usually a head-like section.
Mm-hmm.
And I use a lot of unusual materials, like I'll put in musical instruments and old rusty hinges, just anything I find that captures my imagination.
I love it. I mean, Sharpie, isn't this is exactly the kind of thing that you're looking for, is unique, never seen before kind of stuff, right?
yes, and what also sets our art show apart from other art shows, our artists can only show original works of art. So there's no prints, there's no duplication, there's nothing like that. It's all original fine art. And yes, there's every medium you can possibly imagine at the Festo Arts. We have the jewelers and the mixed media, as you just heard about, but there's also traditional painting, oil and watercolor, and we have sculpture, you name it. As far as a medium goes, it's there at the Festival of Arts. And just as diverse as the mediums are the styles and our artists. And I'm going to tell everyone again, please speak to our artists. They're intriguing. They're happy to tell you about their process and how they built this art. It's really just fascinating to talk to the artists and also their background stories. And I also find when I'm walking around the art show, just to share you something, sometimes something you just gravitate towards it. And so you just want to ask the artist all about it. And most likely, I find myself buying it, to tell you the truth. So there you go. But come down to the Fest Arts in Laguna Beach. The art show will be open from July 5th through September 3rd. Our hours are a little different this year. During the weekdays, we're opening at 4 p.m., so a little bit later. But on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, make an early morning of it. Come down at 10 a.m. And we have all type of music programs, and other activities that as a patron may participate in. So lots of fun.
Now, the Festival of Arts Fine Arts Show, is that free to the public?
Excuse me, it is not free to the public. There is a fee. It's a very reasonable fee. It's only $10 during the week and $15 on weekends. But that's the whole day that you can experience the Festo Arts Fine Art Show. For some people, there are some conditions. There's for students, there's a lesser fee, and Laguna Beach residents, if you are Laguna Beach residents, you do get in free. That's one of the things we do. And also there's discounts for military as well. So it's very minimal. And if you happen to be going to the Pageant of the Masters, which is our sister show that runs in the evening, your Pageant of the Masters tickets get you into the festival all summer long. So that's like a season pass. So not only you get to see the Pageant of the Masters Living Picture show, but you come back to the Festival Arts all summer long. So that is like very, very valuable thing to purchase.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Pageant of the Masters, because it's a very special, unique program. What is your theme this year?
Our theme this year, wonderful theme this year, is Made in America, and it's trailblazing artists and their stories. So we are just thrilled to be presenting the show. And we had started the show back in 2020. And before everything got shut down and stopped. So they had started on the show, and we decided to move forward with the show in 2021 because it was such a wonderful, inspirational show, and I think it's apropos right now since it is about Made in America, and it really recognizes our liberties and our freedoms as American, and these stories are in our history. It's all told through the artist's eyes, an American artist mostly. So it's a wonderful theme. We're recreating famous works of art by, for example, Edward Hopper, Mary Cassatt. The list goes on and on. I don't want to throw too many out there. I will, however, say we're always asked about Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. It is our traditional finale, and it will be in the show this year. So don't worry, folks. It's going to be in the show, and our director has found a very interesting way to spin that into the theme Made in America. Yeah, so it's great. And it is hard to explain what the pageant is. So I'm going to try. So anyone jump in and help me out here. But basically what we do is we recreate famous works of art with real people. And we dress them up in costume and makeup and put them on sets, and then on stage, they hold pose for roughly 90 seconds. And they look just like the original piece of work that we're trying to recreate. Sounds kind of bizarre and weird, but it is the most fascinating and awe-inspiring thing you've ever seen. But it's a show, it's a production, and it's at night. So not only are you looking at the living pictures, but it's accompanied by beautiful orchestra music and a narrator who tells a story about each piece. So a lot of times what people don't realize about the Fest Arts and Pageant and Masters is we're a nonprofit, and our mission is to support the arts, like our artists, and art education. And so we're tricking you when you come and see the pageant, because we're telling you a little bit about the artists and educating you about art. So I always like to say it's an entertaining art history lesson. But
it's true that it is, and it's great. And I've been a couple of times. In fact, we even went behind the scenes. I think it was probably about 2 years now, and it was really fun. We got to see everybody in action. So, well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much to all of you. Sherry and Brian, good luck to you. Sounds awesome. I wish you all the best presentation ever. And Sharby, good luck to you this season.
Thank you. Hope to see you down at the festival and pageant.
All right. And we'll be right back after this.